Hello and welcome to our product run-through of our new launch products, together with me, Fredrik Lundvall, Head of Product Development at System Edström. The new drop fronts, as previously, they come in our 110mm and 220mm height. But compared to previous version, we don't cheat when it comes to the height. 110 is 110. And what that means is that you can put a drawer or a shelf or another drop front directly on top of another one. The new drop fronts are produced out of a low CO2 emissions aluminium produced in Norway. And what that means is that the new drop fronts are roughly 31.5% lighter than the previous version. And that's on average 0.9 kilos per drop front. When we designed the new drop fronts, we wanted to have a flush front against the shelf frame, so no protruding parts from the drop front itself. So previous version had the brackets sticking out, which means you could hit them and you could easily break or hurt yourself when operating the drop front. With the new drop fronts, we move everything in, and what that means is that the front is much neater. But it also meant that we had to redesign the front shape because the plastic bins needs to fit within the shelf of the drop front. So the shape of the new drop front is actually identical. It follows the plastic bin shape. The mounting time is roughly the similar time as the current version. And with the new drop fronts, we also introduce new drop front shelves. And the reason for this is, of course, that we moved the front in, so we needed to redesign the drop front shelf itself. And when we did this, we upgraded the material choice, so we now have high strength steel, but in slightly thinner material. So what that means is that we save on average 1.1 kilo per shelf, or 35% per shelf, without compromising on the strength and integrity of the shelf itself. There are no differences apart from moving the front in. You can still use the same old dividers that you have previously and the same plastic bin slides. So as a concept for the new drop front and drop front shelves, we are now on average 2.1 kilos lighter. The new drop fronts and the drop front shelves will all have new article numbers, so you won't mix them up with the old ones. And we also offer them in a new width, which is 392mm wide. And the reason for that I will go into shortly when we discuss the new cabinets. On to the new cabinets. So these are now offered in the 392mm width, meaning you can fit the new drop front shelves within the actual cabinet. So if you want to have it like a bookshelf, you could just add more and more drop front shelves into the cabinet. These are offered in two different heights, so 1220mm and 505mm. We have our standard depths, so 300mm and 470mm. What's important to note is that the 470mm cabinet, you could add a coat hanger. And the reason why it's only in the 470 depth is because otherwise you won't fit the actual hanger in there. It comes with a top shelf, which you could flip the other way around, meaning that you get a little bit more spacious cabinet. And when you buy these, you purchase the middle part, so everything that's within the shelf frames. So what you will get included is the door, top and bottom shelf, as well as a back cover that's included. And the sides, if you want to cover that, there are two different options. So either you go with the new side plates, which is a complete cover, or you go with our standard plain pegboard sheets. The side plates are offered in the same heights as the cabinet, so that would be 1220 and 505mm. The only thing that's important to know when it comes to covering the sides is that you can't fit them where the locking is. So it has to be outside on this side, or here. It works either way. One more thing that's important to note: if you would like to have the door the other way around, you can actually flip it. Obviously the locking will be down here, but sometimes you want to open it like this and sometimes you want to open it the other way around. So this concludes the new cabinet, a lot more configurable than the previous version. Two different heights, two different depths, decide on whether you want pegboards or side plates to cover the sides. The new internal ladder holder. So we have for a while wanted to update our current version of the internal ladder holder, and the reason for that is that we want to remove the rattling and remove the need for the straps to fix the ladder in positions. So what we've come up with is this, which is a spring-loaded version. So the hangers, you just put in the front part of the ladder, push it in, and then it comes to a spring, and it pushes back into the rear hook. So it's quite a neat and easy insertion of the ladder. The benefit of this is also that we made the hangers foldable. So for instance, when you're out doing work and you don't need to have a ladder in the van, you could easily fold this up and they attach to magnets sitting in the rear part of the internal ladder holder. This means that when folded, the internal ladder holder builds only like 5 centimeters. It comes in an aluminium profile made out of the same aluminium, low CO2 aluminium that we have in our new drop fronts, and the hangers. And that's 2 parts that you just need to fit together with 4 screws, and then you need to fit it into the roof. So it's quite an easy assembly and easy to use. What you need to think of is the length of the ladder. It's limited to 1.9 meters, so you shouldn't have ladders longer than that. If you do that, you need to separate the front and the rear part, the aluminium profile. So to sum it up, it's easier to use, it's quieter, and it's foldable when not in use. And also, it probably has my favorite name in our catalog, the T9000. And now we come to the part of actually fitting the racking into the van. So this year we will be launching some bespoke brackets. So as you can see, they have various shapes depending on the car model. And they make use of the existing holes in the van. So you don't need to add any extra holes or anything like that in order to fix the racking. In order to get these working, we had to make some changes to the shell frames themselves. So the front, nothing has really changed, and the same with our whole pattern on the sides. But on the back, we added some holes, and that is to make it easier to actually fit the brackets onto the shell frames themselves. It also gives us some possibilities in the future to add accessories and stuff like that, for instance, adding pegboards and so forth. These bespoke brackets are fitted on the B, C, or D pillars in fixed positions. That means that they decide the length of the racking itself, so the distance from shell frame to shell frame. If you're not happy with the position, we're also launching the airline fixing rail. So if you don't want to have the shell frame here, you can just add a fixing rail onto this bespoke bracket, and you can position this shell frame wherever you want on this fixing rail. The good thing with this is that this is also a premium option to our standard L-type support rails. So now you can add airline fixings wherever you want, up to 100 kilos on the airline fixing rails. These are made out of the same high strength steel as our normal shell frames. And all of this is already crash tested, so we don't compromise with safety, we just make the assembly a lot easier. This year we're not only launching new System Edström van racking products, we're also launching floors, walls and ceiling linings. And we do this because we know it is often sold in combination with our van racking. This will help you to get a full offer with System Edström van racking and a proven floor, walls and ceiling lining. I will briefly go through the highlights of the product and how to easily sell them in drop and draw. So let's start with the floors. The floors are made out of Nordic wood, and the reason why we are emphasizing that it's Nordic is because the trees go slower here, meaning that they are stronger. So these are the floors that we use in our crash testing, and we use it with the updated insert nut, so we know that we get the rigidity that we want. Shortly put, if you want to have a safely installed System Edström racking, you should buy these floors. These floors are made out of 7 layers and are coated with the anti-slip surface, so it is easy to clean and easy to maintain. It is also resistant to the most common chemicals. These floors are integrated seamlessly in drop and draw, meaning once you have selected the model in drop and draw, you just click one button and you have the floors automatically put on the quote. You can also select to have the doorstep overbuilt in drop and draw. So if you know you have a van racking that extends on one side of the van, you can select the overbuilt, meaning you actually put plywood above the doorstep so you can easily fit the shelf frames there. Moving on to the walls and ceiling lining. So this year we're also adding linings for the walls and ceiling to protect the van for the end user from scratches and dents that may occur when they use it on an everyday basis. The material is 100% polypropylene, which is plastic, which is heavy duty and can withstand the test of time. These walls and ceiling lining actually doubles as noise cancelling because it is made out of a honeycomb structure which actually absorb the noise from the van or any tools that you might have in the van that move around. So when you select the walls and ceiling lining in drop and draw, you can get some extra question depending on the model. So for instance, is there a tailgate or is it a barn door? Or do you want big panels or small panels? That's all dependent on the model. To conclude, we now also offer floors, walls and ceiling lining, and it's only a click away in drop and draw. Outside our normal van racking, we have some new products that can accompany our racking. So first of all, you who attended the dealer meeting, you're well aware of the System Edström sustainers. We offer them in 3 different heights, so 137, 187 and 237 millimeter height. What's good to know about these is that it's a proven concept. They're System Edström branded, stackable, and if you have 3 stacked on top of each other, you can open the middle one without the need to remove the top one. We also launched Flexi Edge Protection on dealer meeting, and this is so that you don't bump your head into a sharp edge. And these are quite easily fitted by either riveting them in the hole here into the shelf or a screw and a nut. We also have the new tool clamp, and this is meant for any type of rod, so that could be shovels or big drills, any type of shaft-shaped object. So this you strap on easy with a rubber strap, and what's good to know is that it's a maximum 5 kilos per tool clamp. So if you have objects that more than 5 kilos, you need to have 2. And if you have heavier stuff like a digging bar and you don't want to make marks onto your floor, we now have a heavy-duty pegboard tray. And what this means is that it's slightly thicker than the normal pegboard tray, so it's a bit more heavy-duty and can withstand the weight of a digging bar. These are sold separately, the tool clamp and the pegboard tray, so if you're creative, I'm sure there are many different uses which we haven't thought about yet. We also made some updates to the insert nut. So a lot of you requested that we should have a flat head essentially, so it covers any type of distortion in the plywood when you drill into the plywood. So now it has a little hat that covers any splinter. And they also have a little bit bigger threads compared to the old insert nuts, so it's actually 50% stronger than the old version. With that, I conclude the news for 2025, and I thank you for listening, and I hope you like the new products. Thank you.